Welcome, everybody, to the DePaul Hockey Network, live on YouTube, live from Johnny's Ice House West here in Chicago. It is time for game number 3 of the season for the DePaul Blue Demons as they play host to the St. Norbert's Green Knights. Dylan Ward alongside Chris Dubiel on the call with you, Bridget Ryan, our broadcast director, Olivia Bender, our broadcast assistant, and Ali Zizis, our videographer today. We're moments away from the starting lineups here from Johnny's Ice House West. But Chris, how about the first 2 games for the Blue Demons? 9-1 and 7-2, both victories over Louisville.
Talk about starting hot. Plus 13 goal differential to start the season. We had a couple of hat tricks. You've got 2 players on the Blue Demons with multi-goal games to start the season off. Fill in the stat sheet. I heard Jarek Rubel say in the previous broadcast that Michael Fortune had 4 goals all last season. He has 4 already. And he had 4 in the first 4 periods of the season.
Not bad to match your pace in just the opening weekend of play. Meanwhile, for the Green Knights, they played Michigan Tech last week in their season opener, lost the first game 5-3, but the second game 4-3. They were winners. So much closer affairs, and they come into this one 1-1. A lot more on St. Norbert's coming up, especially behind the bench. Some interesting storylines there.
Oh, yeah. You got Dan Wood making his return to Johnny's West to face his former team, the Blue Demons. Dan Wood, the head coach of the revived St. Norbert ACHA program. It's a new team, so you got a lot of youngsters on this roster. It's a very freshman-heavy team, St. Norbert. So for them to get their first win in the first weekend, I feel was very big for them.
Absolutely, an NCAA Division III team in the past. As our PA announcer tonight, William, delivering the starting lineups for the St. Norbert's Green Knights.
Speaking of Dan Wood, also the coach of Stevenson, he's got a couple of Stevenson Patriot alum in the starting lineup between Chase Caslett and Sean Yurkov.
Yeah, Sean Yurkov. Watch out for his Michigan. Chris, you and I spent a lot of time covering high school hockey in the state of Illinois. And Yurkov on Stevenson, boy, that was his specialty. And now I'm sure we might see, I don't know if he's going to put one in tonight, but we might see at least an attempt or 2. But that's not something Sean Hammond isn't familiar about. Behind the bench of DePaul, of course, formerly Dan Wood's assistant coach at DePaul, now the head coach with Dan Wood moving to St. Norbert's. But as you mentioned, Chris, both of those men are teammates with the Stevenson Patriots high school team here in Illinois. So double duty for both of them. And two guys who work together on the same team are going against each other tonight.
Should be an emotional game. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, we'll get the national anthem now. Then it'll be game time. I'll tell you what, Chris, it's starting to hit me seeing Dan Wood behind the visiting bench at Johnny's Ice House West after years of covering this DePaul Blue Demons hockey team and seeing him on the right half of the ice from our perspective. Just a strange sight to see him back here coaching a different team.
It really is, especially with all the success that the DePaul program has had under Dan Wood. Last year, a little bit of a transitional year for the Blue Demons. A lot of roster turnover as he had some players graduate and move on and kind of pass the torch to a new group. And that new group off to a good start so far. Dan Wood's going to try to build something similar to what he had at DePaul with St. Norbert.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, obviously in college sports, there's a lot of roster turnover year after year, but he's familiar with a few of these skaters, and he's quite familiar with the coaching stylings of Sean Hammond. So we'll see how these two coaches collide here tonight. Starting to our left is Anders Smith for the St. Norbert's Green Knights. As for the Blue Demons, Max Hetman gets the nod. DePaul in black, right to left on your screen. Norbert's in white, left to right, and we are underway. Thank you for hanging out with us here on this Friday night as Zizas plays it to the far side for Aarons in the DePaul zone. Now to the near side, Chris Lee wearing the C on his jersey this year. Puck bounces out to Norbert's. They play it up ice. There's Kozlov. Big hit by Zimmerman, knocking him off the puck. But Sean Yurkov instead will fire it in down the right wing.
Like to see that on the opening shift of the game. Get a good body check in, set the tone, get some energy going.
You talked about a young team, Chris. I mean, ACHA or not, this is college hockey, and it's a big jump from where a lot of these guys played last season. So they're going to have to get used to it. Yeah, this isn't their first game, but still quite early on in the season.
No doubt about it. The speed level, the physicality level, it all gets dialed up a little bit. Especially at this ACHA D2 level, it's no joke. This is good hockey.
DePaul bench wondering why that was called an icing. It had appeared, at least in their perspective, that Josh Taylor won the race to the puck. But they'll drop it back in their own zone with 18:53 to go in the first. Dylan Ward, Chris Dubiel, here in Chicago, the city of, just a couple blocks down from the United Center. Johnny's Ice House West, a former practice facility of the Chicago Blackhawks. Now they play at Fifth Third Arena.
I'll tell you what, Dylan, driving eastbound on 290, seeing that Chicago skyline,
nothing like it,
lit up in the twilight, got me excited for hockey season.
Yeah, just that skyline alone tells you it's back. This will be iced down by St. Norbert's College. And I would imagine some St. Norbert's fans who found their way to our stream, probably Blackhawks fans. There's no NHL team in Wisconsin, but probably a mixture of Blackhawks and Minnesota Wild. As a matter of fact, maybe you can let us know in the chat who you're a fan of in the NHL. And hey, drop your Stanley Cup picks. Why not? Now's the time.
Not a shortage of local Chicago area players on St. Norbert's either. So.
No doubt about that. This one tipped off a defender's stick, wouldn't go. Martirano trying to make something happen, but it gets cleared out by the Green Knights. Here's Wessel far side. Off the near boards, intercepted by Platt as he'll dump it in. Martirano chasing after it down below the goal line. He gets to it. Drops it off for Taylor. Up high it goes, McMaster. Pardon me, Martirano, and that gets cleared out. Now, the Blue Demons trying to catch him in the change. Martirano, nice drop-off pass. Here's DeJulio with a shot. And that one's turned aside by Anders Smith. Might have not hit the net, but the save made anyhow. Big hit on the near side, sort of in our blind spot here at Johnny's Ice House West. AJ Kulikowski trying to come away with the puck, but it's taken back by the Knights and tipped ahead. It's Dylan Pomillo, but getting there first is the netminder, Max Hetman. Look out, as he nearly had a problem there, but avoided that. And a nice play by the goaltender, aggressive play to win that race to the puck.
Yeah, great instincts to come out and aggressively play that puck, not give the oncoming attacker a chance to get a shot away, but a little bit sloppy with that rim around. He hit the side of the goal, but no worse for wear.
That one nearly goes out. Hits the top foot of the glass down in the DePaul end, or pardon me, in the Norbert's end. This one stolen away. Kulikowski tried to pick Yurkov's pocket. These are two guys who are former SHL rivals from years past, Sean Yurkov and AJ Kulikowski. Now Kosalot.
It's got to be cool for these guys to cross paths as competitors at two different levels.
Totally.
You end up in the same division as you were in high school, now playing at the ACHA level.
Now here's Wonkel. Puck taken away by Kosalot. It might be a 2-on-1. Kosalot lost the puck. He had Will Maloney to his left. Could have gone to him, but doesn't even get a shot on net against Hetman.
Maloney, one of the more veteran players for this St. Norbert squad. Keep an eye on 71 in white.
Here's Pepper now. He gets knocked off the puck by Kosalot. That draws some bench kicks. I was going to say stick taps, but it wasn't. They were kicking the bench on the other side.
Making some noise for their teammate. A little bit of juice there for St. Norbert.
Pomelo down below the goal line. Puck taken back by DePaul. He can't clear it out, or actually they just does get past Sean Yurkov, and it's sent back in.
Yeah, he tried to kick to the stick there as that puck was coming up the boards. He just missed it.
Sort of a shorter bench for St. Norbert's. DePaul with 7 scratches every single game from their roster to make a legal starting lineup. As for St. Norbert's, at any given time tonight, they've only got 8 skaters on the bench. Now Yurkov. Puck taken back by Chris Lee, the veteran. Played ahead. That pass missed. And will be called an icing. Just getting started here in Chicago. Just over 5 minutes in. Still scoreless. Glad to have you with us on the DePaul Hockey Network, where you can catch each and every home game for the Blue Demons this season. Got another one tomorrow. Chris, you'll be switching headsets for that one and taking the play-by-play.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Always love to call the action. Whether it's play-by-play or analysis, just love to be in the mix. Good to have hockey back. First broadcast or announcing gig of any kind for me this season.
There's Zimmerman with a shot that goes above the net as Lee retreats back with the puck. I understand you kept yourself busy with baseball this offseason, Chris.
Yeah, I got to shout out the Illinois Valley Pistol Shrimp of the Prospect League. A lot of fun being the DJ and PA announcer all summer long down in the Illinois Valley.
It's quite a different game than this one. Here's Lee up high.
For sure.
Similar looking final scores, though, I'll have to say. Zimmerman over the line, left wing side, spins to elude one man, now goes across. Here's Martirano with a shot. That one deflects off the stick of Mazinski of St. Norbert's and goes back behind the goal line. Now, Del Marcel. Trying to get around a couple bodies in black sweaters. And DePaul's able to chip this one out. A perfect punt as it goes right on net. So no icing called. Well, nearly a steal by Fortune. Instead, Mazinski will fire it in down this right wing side. Kosalot catches up to it, tries a shot from a tough angle, and didn't miss by much, Chris.
Yeah, sometimes it's not a bad idea to just fire it, even if you're kind of at a funny spot on the ice. Sometimes your only option is to just shoot it, and sometimes good things happen.
Martirano now across the line, takes a shot into the glove of Anders Smith, another one of those that looked like it might have not been on its way to a shot on goal, but why not stop the play? We haven't had a whistle in a while.
And it's a smart play by Martirano because they needed to get a line change. He gets it on net, forces the goaltender to freeze it. Now you've got a fresh set of forwards and an offensive zone draw.
Chris, we're officially at the level, and for a lot of these guys, the first level of hockey where you are not allowed to change after your team has iced the puck. So that comes into play big time. It's a huge part of this sport that you don't really get once you get to that junior hockey college level at a minimum, like even high school hockey in AAA, U18, they're allowed to change after icing. So,
and it's no touch icing.
Right.
At this level, they're playing hybrid icing like
Yep.
they do in the NHL. So might be an adjustment for the younger players.
It's a great point, Chris. That's where winning the race to the puck factor comes in for those of you at home who might not be familiar with that rule.
Nice chance there for Smith. Puck just kind of found him in the slot. He's a grad student addition from this team. Played with Michigan State's D3 program. And now is in the graduate program here at DePaul and member of the Blue Demons.
Why not, Chris? I mean, this is, for a lot of these guys, this is pretty much everything they know in life. And, you know, hockey is just such a great sport, not just for the game itself, but just to build these relationships and just do something you really, truly enjoy night in and night out.
No doubt about it. And Smith had a nice debut for DePaul, scored 2 goals in the opener.
Here's a shot, they score! Off a face-off, the loose puck sat in the slot and caught Anders Smith napping. Garrick Smith leads the line back to the bench. It's his 3rd of the season already, 1-0 with 12:10.
How about that? We're talking about the hot start for Smith. And he gets the Demons started off here tonight. Puck finds him right between the circles, and he made no mistake. That's his 3rd of the season.
Yeah, Chris scored 2 goals on Friday in DePaul's 9-1 victory over Louisville. And he's a new member of this DePaul Blue Demons team, making an immediate impact. Let's see if the Blue Demons can add on. Salvaggi unable to crash the net, as our PA announcer William informs us of the assists on the goal. AJ Kulikowski gets one. He had a goal Saturday in the last game. And Ryan McMaster with the other assist. So there you have it, your opening goal tonight.
Good to see Ryan McMaster chipping in. He missed almost all of last season with an injury. Good to see him healthy and being a big part of this team.
Just less than halfway through the first period, 1-0 DePaul. As they're looking to make it a 3-0 start to the campaign. Fortune played that one ahead. Now Chris Lee gets it back. Goes back to Fortune. He'll send it in. Hits the skate of Mazinski. And Mazinski plays it off the far boards. It hops over the stick of one, and Platt will dump it in. Now Patrick Mazinski taken away by the Blue Demons. Here's a shot. Save made. Rebound backhander by Martirano. Couldn't get enough wood on it. Now centered right in front. Fortune with a shot. And that one's blocked by Pamillo. So some quick follow-up attack here by the Blue Demons after the game-opening goal. Here's another shot right down low and thrown right across the goal line. Josh Taylor, boy, how does he miss that? Now Taylor gets another chance. He scores this time. And it's 2-0 Blue Demons.
Made no mistake there. He was open at the side of the net. The pass was kind of rolling as he tried to one-time it. And that's why it kind of looked like he fumbled it, but the pass to the middle was clean. He snaps it by the goaltender. And now Josh Taylor, he's got his 4th of the season.
So the usual suspects so far for Sean Hammond and company. You can now go ahead and credit Taylor for at least a goal in each of the 3 games to begin the season. Here's Yurkov looking to follow up with a shot from the right side. That wouldn't go. Carlson up high. A stick goes down. And a penalty coming up as Hetman raced to the bench, slashing the call. And that'll send DePaul to the power play after doubling up their lead.
Yeah, a little insult to injury here for St. Norbert, as it is going to be Gilbert off for slashing. Mick Gilbert played at St. Ignatius. He's going to sit in the box. And DePaul, prime opportunity here to keep St. Norbert on the run and try to pad this lead early on. They just scored a goal. Now they're going on the power play.
Now, does someone want to tell William that it's 2-0 instead of 1-0 here at Johnny's Ice House West? It's okay. We know up here. All right, power play for the Blue Demons. Aarons off a face-off win, slides it over to Taylor. Centers it. Kulikowski couldn't get a forehand shot away, but they try and clear. It's kept alive. Taylor with a shot save. Rebound! They score! Anthony Martirano right there to fire it into a 6x4 net. And just 16 seconds into the man advantage, 3-zip.
2 points in 16 seconds there for Martirano. He had just assisted beautifully on the Josh Taylor goal. This time, he's the recipient of a great pass. Actually, a rebound. He buried it. And the power play goal has busted this one open here in the first period.
And listen, Chris, DePaul, yes, through only 2 games against the same opponent, but an average of 8 goals per game so far to open up the season. And they're looking to be right back on that track. As a matter of fact, they're on pace for, what would you call that, 18 goals if this current pace kept up. And the DePaul Blue Demons offense has always been the story of this team here in the 2020s, as long as I've been covering them. And it looks to be no different here this year than any other year. I mean, 9-1, 7-2. Now 3-0 with 9:10 to go in the first. Here's Wessel. Big slap shot from the point. That gets blocked by DePaul's Verlinski. Now Selvaggi trying to clear the zone out for Verlinski. Selvaggi gets taken down. DePaul wants a penalty called, and I don't blame them. They're not going to get one.
Yeah, it was Luke Wessel had his stick tied up into the waist of Selvaggi. Wessel got rid of the stick. Probably saved himself a hooking penalty by just letting it go. If you're St. Norbert, you cannot afford to take another penalty, and you certainly want to get the next goal.
Chris, not necessarily saying that the refs do this, but in these types of situations, I always say, watch out if you're DePaul, because that ref might be looking for a penalty to give Norbert's a power play to sort of even it up. And again, not to say that they do that, but if DePaul commits a penalty that might not be called in some situations, they've got their eyes locked on that one.
Oh, yeah. A call can always change the momentum of the game.
Lee with a steal takes a shot off the SNC. Here's another shot from Kulikowski. Deflected, and the goalie lost his stick here. DePaul trying to just stuff it in, but Yurkov will take it away.
A couple of really big saves there by Anders Smith. They definitely need him to be big. As Yurkov, bit of a shot high on Chris Lee. Lee looking for a call there, but we play on.
Sean Yurkov, the freshman, and Chris Lee, obviously the veteran. 7:10 to go, first period. DePaul in full control. DeJulio. Now Zimmerman. Over the line. Zimmerman takes a shot. Save. Rebound. Trying to get another shot was Nathan Zork. Now Zimmerman gets it back. Up to Platt. Slides it over to the right side for DeJulio. He'll fire. Not sure if that was a shot or pass. Now right in front, Zimmerman tried to stuff it home at the doorstep, could not, as it was stopped by Smith.
Smith picked up that puck late, but he had really good technique down in the blue paint, had the bottom of the net sealed off. He made a big save.
Down to Julio. Back for DePaul, up to Zimmerman. Waiting at the blue line, Zimmerman. Forced that one down to the corner, thrown up high, but Maluli gets in the way of that. Now Taylor centers it. Zimmerman just punches that one wide at the right post. Now Zimmerman gets it back, fires a shot. No luck there as it got blocked into the corner. Zimmerman again, also saved. Rebound from an impossible angle off the stick of Martirano. And boy, Chris, is Anders Smith getting his work cut out for him tonight? I mean, 3 goals in the first period. I'd say he's having a pretty good game.
No doubt about it. And that shot, that last shot, was from a really tough angle, but it was a hard shot. It was a tough save, and Smith was able to squeeze it and not give a rebound. And it's turned into a bit of an onslaught here in the latter part of this first period, and he's doing everything he can to keep his team in the game.
Martirano now comes across, takes a shot, tough angle, stopped by Smith again. Now 3-on-2 comes Norbert. It's Yurkov over the line, puts on the brakes, up to Carlson. He blew a tire, and here comes Martirano. Partial break down the right side. Anthony Martirano absorbed by Anders Smith on the breakaway.
Save. That's a very big save. Martirano was being chased down a little bit, but he still had a step on the defender. He had options of what he could have done there. Tried to make the move and put it through the goalie. And Smith able to squeeze it and keep this a 3-goal game with 5:21 to go here in period 1.
By the way, it looks like Schmitty responded to our question, Devils all day. Okay, so we've got a Devils fan in the chat. And we've got Jerome, let's go Green Knights. So some enemy territory. As a matter of fact, Jerome, I just put together that's probably my cousin who went to St. Norbert. Starting pitcher there. Is that one stopped by, let's see, who's the starter again? Max Hetman. Haven't had to say his name too often.
Nice sharp glove save on Maluli there. And that can be a tough spot for a goaltender. When your team is on the attack for long stretches of the game, it could be tough to focus a little bit, and all of a sudden you see a high-quality chance coming back at you. But Hetman on his toes there and made a nice glove save.
Now ahead, here comes Selvaggi. 2-on-1, takes a shot, had Aaron's trailing. And that one stopped by Smith. He hangs on again. Under 4 to go here before the first break.
I don't know if Selvaggi saw Joe Aaron's going to the net as he kind of rushed to that puck, tried to get separation from the defender and put a pretty good shot on net, maybe hoping for a rebound. But again, the rebound control from Smith, pretty good. He's been gobbling up those pucks. He's not an overly big goalie, but he moves very quickly in the blue paint. And he seems to be trapping the pucks pretty effectively.
Sean Yurkov. He'll rush the other way. Maybe a 2-on-1 now here for Norbert. Maybe 3-on-1 as well. Yurkov, and a nice save made by Hetman. And boy, for a goaltender who hasn't seen a lot of shots so far in the game, makes a nice save there.
Yeah, Pomelo going to the net gave him a little bit of a whack. Hetman did not like it, but he got a stick tap. I believe that was Pepper, went over to him and gave him a little tap on the pads. Just saying, hey, don't worry about it. But understandable, if you're St. Norbert, you're trailing by 3. You want to...
Here's Zork. Leaves it Zimmerman. Here's a shot. That did not miss the crossbar by much. Aarons comes to the near side once again for Zimmerman. Up to Lee, who keeps it in. Lee waits for a shot. Now he'll take it. And that gets blocked. Number 9 shot blocked by the other number 9 out there, Kasalak. Right in front, blue paint, diving on the puck is Anders Smith, and he will hang on for another whistle. 4:04 to go here in the first period. 3-0 to the Blue Demons here at home.
Like that play from Nathan Zork. Little spinning backhand pass to the middle, but Smith aggressively able to pounce on that loose puck. As I mentioned earlier, St. Norbert, they're going to try to stir the pot a little bit. You need a little bit of an emotional lift, big hit, maybe start bugging some of the guys on the Blue Demons, draw a penalty, just something to turn the tide of the game.
If you're joining us late, one of the biggest storylines here tonight is head coach of the Green Knights, Dan Wood, former DePaul head coach, and his opposition is his former assistant coach, Sean Hammond. These two gentlemen work together with Stevenson High School nearby in the Chicagoland area. So they're very familiar with one another's coaching mechanics and tactics. But sometimes when you have the better players, as DePaul seems to, a game can get out of hand quickly, but hey, still plenty of time to go. And you absolutely never know in this beautiful game.
Yeah, for St. Norbert, you're just thinking about getting that next goal. Turn the tide the other way. Maybe DePaul gets a little bit lazy and sits on the lead a bit.
I think they might have just got St. Norbert's for too many men. Or no, I'm sorry. They are letting them know that they cannot change because there was just an icing.
There, yep.
So there's another example of these boys playing by that rule for first time in most of their career, especially with Norbert's a young team.
Sometimes even when you know the rules, you're just trying to sneak a change. Hope the officials did not see it, but it's their job to watch for those changes.
Here's Platt with a shot, puck loose, and it's retrieved by Norbert's. They can't get it out. DeJulio sends it back down. And Platt unable to keep it in, but this will be another icing for the Green Knights, and those group of boys out there quite tired after a long shift. They're going to have to stay out there for the next faceoff.
Yeah, and this is another factor where you've got a little bit of a shorter bench. Everybody's got to skate a little bit more, and in a 60-minute game, that'll that can take its toll, especially if DePaul continues to be as aggressive as they have been on the forecheck, pinning St. Norbert in their own zone.
Because in levels below college hockey, I mean, icing the puck is a major strategy if you are at the end of a long shift. This one gets deflected, so Norbert's finally able to change all 5. And DePaul will bring it back up. That pass finds McMaster off the boards. McMaster tried to center it for a crashing Garrick Smith, but never found him. Now this one's stolen away. Kulikowski down low, tipped on net, or at least tried to by McMaster. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, Wessel did a nice job to lower his stick and block that pass. Otherwise, that was a great developing play. Started all with that long bank pass that bounced perfectly to McMaster. He had the right idea trying to set up Smith, just couldn't execute it.
AJ Kulikowski taken away by St. Norbert's. Here comes Pamillo. Mishandled the puck, and it gets taken away by Wonkel. Sean Yurkov back, and Norbert's will touch up. We have an interference call by the trailing referee, and Pamillo heads to the box and slams the door in frustration.
Yeah, Pamillo collided with one of the Blue Demons away from the puck, just kind of in frustration. Somebody was in his path, and he just leveled him. I didn't catch which of the Blue Demons it was, but I did see Pamillo in my periphery just run somebody over, and he knew it as he headed straight to the box in frustration.
Well, DePaul scored a power play goal just 16 seconds after the infraction last time. They're looking to go 2 for 2 on the night. Martirano waits at the left faceoff circle, and instead he'll actually get kicked out. Michael Fortune comes in, and the puck falls. He wins it cleanly up. Here is Taylor with a shot. Save made by Smith, and no one knew where the puck was for a second, and St. Norbert's will send that one the length.
He's been sharp with that blocker, Smith. Really actively punching pucks away when they come to that side of his body.
This is Josh Taylor on a pass from Aarons. He'll send it in. Fortune near side corner. Left point now. Zimmerman down low. And Fortune scores. What a goal that was. On a great pass and a great finish. Tucked that one to his forehand, and it is 4-0 to the Blue Demons.
That was just a pretty feed to find Fortune in the front of the net. Believe that was Martirano that made that pass. Came from just inside the blue line. Just quickly slipped it to Fortune, and the sleight of hand by Michael Fortune to pull that to his forehand and tuck it past the netminder. That was a thing of beauty. 4-zip.
Sleight of hand, Chris. I love it. You're in midseason form over there, am I right?
Appreciate that, Dylan. It's good to get back into the swing of things.
No doubt.
It's a little weird though with this last gasp of summer weather-wise.
Oh yeah,
it's been warm.
Just a beautiful day in Chicago today. We're sub 1 minute here in period number 1. This pass missed. It'll be an icing unless Pepper can get there first. He cannot. 45 seconds. 45.8 that is. Here in period number 1.
A 3-point first period for Anthony Martirano as he does get credit for the assist on the Fortune goal.
Yeah, so Smith, Martirano, Taylor, and Fortune with your goals for DePaul through 1 period of play. Here's a shot backhander save made by Hetman. Now Yurkov has it behind the goal line. Sean Yurkov, Pamillo, he takes a hit far side boards. Now tied up and unable to get a shot, Will Maluli. Up high, here's a one-timer, but DeMarcel didn't get a lot on it. Chris Lee. Over the line, takes a shot, and I believe he gets a piece of the post with that one.
Yeah, I thought I heard something there. Might have grazed the crossbar.
Now puck battled for a neutral ice. 5 to go. Look out, William. And in the process of ducking out of the way of that puck, he's unable to stop the timer, and that brings us to the end of the first. They'll call it there, so 20 minutes have come and gone, Chris, and DePaul just in full control.
I mean, well-oiled machine. The rate that they have been scoring in these first 2 1/3 games, like it's impressive. You've got guys up and down the lineup just pouring in the goals, and that has not changed from the first series to the second. And I mean, if you're Sean Hammond, you're just telling your team, keep the foot on the gas, play smart. Don't buy into any antics from the opponent, and just keep filling the net. Keep doing what you're doing because it's working.
All right, so the players will take a break. So will we here on the DePaul Hockey Network. Don't go anywhere. Second period coming up in about 10-15 minutes time right here on YouTube as DePaul will continue to defend what they have built into a 4-0 lead here at Johnny's Ice House West. We'll see you then right here. Welcome back to the DePaul Hockey Network live on YouTube, live from Johnny's Ice House West here in the great city of Chicago, Illinois, alongside our great crew today. Allie Zizis, our videographer, Olivia Bender, our broadcast assistant, Bridget Ryan, our broadcast director. To my right is Chris Dubiel, and my name is Dylan Ward. DePaul enjoying themselves here on this Friday night. 4-0 the score through just 20 minutes of play. And it's not just the number on the board, Chris. They have just been flat out dominating this game.
Yeah, they had the ice tilted in the first period. There was minutes going by between shots on goal for St. Norbert. They had a couple of good chances. Hetman was on the top of his game, but really it was DePaul with an onslaught of shots in the goal to our left in that first period. Had a couple of power plays. They cashed in on both of them. 2 for 2 with the man advantage are the Blue Demons. And just really just hounding St. Norbert in their zone. Green Knights had a lot of trouble just getting it out. We saw them ice the puck a bunch in that first period, especially towards the end.
Well, we've switched sides.
Factor for them.
Sorry, Chris. We've switched sides here in the second period. DePaul in the black uniforms from left to right on your screen, and St. Norbert's in white from right to left. DePaul last weekend in the season opening series, 9-1 and 7-2 victories over Louisville. And they're looking to make it another landslide here tonight. But as we've mentioned, the sport can be incredible at times, and you just never know. Here's a backhand shot, though, on a fresh sheet of ice. Smith makes the save. Andrew Smith still between the pipes. And here's a strange bounce off a rebound, and it's tapped home by Michael Fortune, his second of the evening. So a hat trick last weekend and 2 tonight.
We're on hat trick watch. When you're hot, you're hot. DePaul scored all kinds of pretty goals in that first period, and sometimes you just get lucky, and that's what they did. They just had the puck down low, just kind of threw it towards the net. It bounced off the side of the goal and somehow ended up in the blue paint. Smith never saw it. Fortune just, all he had to do was just tuck it in.
So in games like this, as this one deflects and unable to be settled down, now, meanwhile, racing after the puck is Tommy Soman. But getting there first is the captain of these Blue Demons, Chris Lee. Kept alive at the point. This one fired. Bounces below the goal line, and Lee picks it back up. But, Chris, these are the types of games where if you're the official or really either head coach of these teams, here's a shot. That one wouldn't go.
Good save there by Hetman with the blocker. That was probably the best chance of the game so far for St. Norbert.
Now Martirano the other way. But as I was saying, these games can tend to get pretty physical quickly as the score differential builds up. And, as a coach, you got to straddle that fine line of, playing good hockey for 60 minutes and, also just kind of getting in their face a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt about it. For either side, like if you're DePaul, you don't want to get complacent. You want to continue to play smart. You want to make good plays, keep good habits going. And if you're St. Norbert, you can't roll over, and you also can't let yourself get too overly frustrated and get everybody on a parade to the penalty box either. You have to stick with it and get through it.
For sure. 5-0 your score in favor of DePaul. Second period just underway here on the DePaul Hockey Network. Here's Maluli with a shot. That one deflects off a Blue Demon's stick and goes high of the net. And now here comes Zimmerman down the right wing side with speed. Zimmerman, tough angle shot, parallel to the goal line, and eventually on the follow-up, another chance for Nathan Zork, but into the glove and held onto by Andrew Smith.
A good chance there. Zimmerman driving wide, tried to sneak it in short side. It was a quality shot that Smith had to fight off with the arm. And you just had Zork right there at the doorstep. You're looking back at last Saturday, DePaul scored 7 goals 7 different goal scorers. Different story today, as it's been the line of Martirano, Taylor, and Fortune lighting up the score sheet today.
Yurkov throws it across, nearly tapped to the slot. That's a really good point, Chris. That first line has accounted for 4 of the 5 goals DePaul has scored. Garrick Smith getting the other one. That opened the scoring, but the last 4 consecutive have all been by that first line. Here's Pamillo firing, held onto. No rebound given by Max Hetman.
Yeah, nice stop there by Hetman. Good burst of speed by Pamillo coming up the left wing. Snapped a good shot on goal. Hetman's right there on top of his crease to make the stop. Yeah, speaking of the top line really filling the net, even though it's a 5-0 game, put on the gas. I don't think there's going to be a problem with that. Because you're going to have a motivated bunch of Blue Demons here.
Maluli fires a shot. That one deflects behind the cage. Now Maluli again. Up to Carlson. Warren Carlson below the line. Tapped in front. Nearly a tic-tac-toe effort, but Tommy Soman unable to deflect it home. Don't forget, folks, we do have the chat feature in use here tonight on our YouTube stream. We love to interact with you watching at home, so if you have any questions or comments, fire it in the chat, and we'll be sure to read those as they come along.
The shot block there on that last chance. Marco Cheka getting his body in front of that shot. That's got to be really frustrating for St. Norbert. You're trailing 5-0, and all of a sudden, defensemen are throwing their bodies on the line like it's a 0-0 game.
Right. Sean Yurkov. We talked about Yurkov as the Michigan goal was his specialty in high school puck. Hasn't had very many opportunities to get behind the goal line. There's another good save by Hetman. He hangs on again. Opening couple minutes of this middle frame. 5-0 DePaul.
Yurkov trying to create something there. Was able to kind of dance off the wall. Didn't have a ton of space. But a nice quick release there. And St. Norbert getting a few chances coming their way ever since that early goal by Fortune. But they just have not solved Hetman quite yet.
Aarons, instead it's Lee picking up the puck. Across for Aarons. Back to Chris Lee, the captain. Proudly wears the letter C on the front of his jersey. Now Pepper, nice drop-off pass for Salvaggi, but he couldn't reach it. Winning the race to the puck was Luke Wessel. But it's kept alive at the point. Aarons over to Lee, who fires. And how about the velocity on that drive, but it missed the net.
Yeah, he did not miss by much, just over the crossbar.
Now Lee again, tough angle shot. Left wing side wouldn't go. Still unable to clear it. Pepper, nice no-look pass for Lee. And, Chris, we've seen a handful of just really flashy passes by this Blue Demons team. And it's like the chemistry is not a problem as Lee and Wessel collide. Lee, it's like he got the worst of that hit, but an even collision there in open ice.
Yeah, Wessel doing a good job of staying with the body. Lee tried to dance around the defender and just ran into him.
Now Taylor, but offside, delayed offside, but it does make contact with his skate. And so they will blow it dead. 15:09 to go in the second period. Dylan Ward alongside Chris Dubiel. Happy to have you hanging out with us on this late Friday night, just nearing the 10 o'clock hour local time.
Good old Friday night hockey in Chicago. Get your weekend started with some late night puck.
These two teams will go right back at it tomorrow to complete the weekend series. That'll be an afternoon game, Chris. I believe 3 o'clock, maybe 3:30.
3:30 is the scheduled time.
Right. Here's a shot from way up high through a maze of bodies. Wouldn't find the net. Now, out of the zone, Yurkov.
And Martirano and Pomillo trading cross checks behind the play. Keep an eye on that.
Just offside after Taylor intercepted a puck. Couldn't wait that extra second for his teammate to tag back up. 14:33 to go in period number 2. A decent crowd watches on here at Johnny's Ice House West. An interesting seating setup here at the rink.
Yeah, you're on top of the ice at the upper level. You can't really see it, but anybody's familiar with Johnny's West, it's a balcony of bleachers.
Zimmerman with a loud thud off the pads of Smith with that shot. As that one echoed throughout this Johnny's Ice House. Now Maluli pulls it ahead, trying to get around one defender, but a great play made by Seth Platt. And now this one's fired down by DePaul. They'll get one change as Platt goes off in exchange for Shaka. And it's fired in by Carlson of St. Norbert's College. Zimmerman getting in the way of that clearance, but it will be regained. Here comes DeMarcel, centering it. Here's a shot. Oh, what a save made by Hetman. His best of the evening so far.
St. Norbert's starting to come on here in this second period, getting more pucks to the net. And Hetman has been standing tall.
Now this is Zimmerman. He wanted more of a breakaway, but the referee got in his way in neutral ice. But DePaul will hang on to possession, though. Kulikowski comes crashing in, but couldn't get that one on net. AJ Kulikowski, I personally have a connection to him. I broadcasted his games as a Glenbrook South Titan a couple seasons ago, pretty regularly. An impressive piece to that high school team, and good to see him continuing his playing career here at St. Norbert's College, or pardon me, at DePaul. Now Kosalot chasing after this one. Taken away by Chaka. Near side, Callan will fire it in. And picking this one up is Eli Wonkel. All the way down it goes, and another icing, or pardon me, looks like it was won by McMaster. The race that is, he'll center it. Here's a shot, and a nice left pad save made by Smith. Just barely getting enough on that one. He's glad he didn't clip his toenails this morning.
That was a Smith on Smith stop.
Right?
Garrick Smith had a nice chance there from the left circle and kicking out that leg pad. Toe save there by Anders Smith.
We got Michael Helf in the chat. Of course, longtime DePaul Blue Demon. Asher, what's up, YouTube? Asher. Those are his 3 comments. So, Michael Helf, glad to have you tuning in. Here's a big hit up against the boards, and that's going to draw one.
Yeah, it was a bit high. And now everybody's going to gather in front of the bench. St. Norbert did not like that hit.
I don't blame him, to be completely honest, Chris.
That they had the penalty called, though, so you don't want to lose your power play.
Right.
I mean, obviously you want to push back a little bit, but you just got to be smart about it. And it's a boarding call, and it's on Marco Salvaggi. So this will be a power play here for the Green Knights.
Well, DePaul was 2 for 2 on the power play, but for Norbert's, this will be their first look. And if you're Dan Wood, just pretty much a great opportunity to get yourselves back in this.
Yeah, you never know. You chip away at the lead a little bit, get a little bit of positive mojo going if you can get a quick power play goal here. You got all your skill guys out there.
They won the face-off.
Something happen.
That's a good way to start. Here's a centering pass. Kosalot, and a big save made by Hetman. Nice play to begin the power play. It's Maluli now. Right circle. Over to Yurkov. Sean Yurkov up high for Wessel. Wessel waits. Throws it to the slot. Here's a shot that missed the net by Kosalot. Rebound DePaul off the far side boards. Down, but not all the way, just to neutral ice, and St. Norbert's will regroup.
Pretty good puck movement here by St. Norbert with the man advantage. Kosalot, how about that chance he had? He wanted to one-time that puck, but he had to steady it to make sure he didn't fan on. Still got a good shot off, but Hetman to save.
Yurkov creeping down below the goal line. We know what that means. Let's see if he tries it on this power play. Instead, he'll try a shot from the right circle. That deflects to the near side for Del Marcel. Now behind the goal line again. Up to Sean Yurkov. Right point, Yurkov. Centered it, and that one's tipped just high by Dylan Pomillo. But, I mean, Chris, sure, it might be because of the power play, but that last minute of play may be the most dominant the Green Knights have been all night.
Yeah, they've got a little juice going here. Even leading up to the power play, as you said, they've had some good scoring chances. They're keeping Max Hetman busy. They draw the penalty to get the power play, and they're knocking on the door here. They just haven't found the back of the net yet.
10:50 to go in the second, 51 seconds on the power play itself. 5-0 DePaul as this one leaks out to the neutral zone. And Fortune tips this one ahead. Del Marcel behind him looks over his shoulder and will get to the puck first.
That's such a tough play. Impressive there by Del Marcel with a forechecker hounding him all the way. He's got a man on his back, and to come away with the puck, it's a nice play.
Now Platt over to DeJulio, and DePaul okay with wasting some time while shorthanded as it's fired all the way down. And again, shorthanded, so no icing. Battle for the puck near side boards in the corner. And St. Norbert's College comes away with it. A pass out to the neutral zone for Soman. And DePaul remains perfect on the special teams tonight. 2 for 2 on the man advantage. 1 for 1 on the kill. Big collision between Carlson and Martirano. And they got their 6 switched up in the process. And that was a pretty heavy hit.
Yeah, both players look to be shaken up by that.
Here's Shaka firing a shot. One missed the net. Wonkel keeps it in.
Martirano went right to the bench. Carlson's still out there, but he looks a little slow.
That shot just blazed past the right point. Here's another one by Shaka, blocked by his own man. Here's Taylor with a look. And a hand pass will stop play. Chris, one interesting thing to note is, of course, here in the second period of the long change where your bench is on your attacking half, meaning if you're in your own zone, it makes it that much harder to change. And especially with that icing rule, that really comes into effect.
Yeah, your changes have to be on point. You got to make sure that the puck is in deep in a safe spot, and you just got to be quick. Everybody on the bench has to be alert. You got to have a good communication. Those details are just that much more important with the long change in the second period.
Some glove down by Soman onside. Soman takes a hit near side corner boards. DePaul will sauce this one out. Just missed the stick of Zork, but will he win the race? As a matter of fact, the goalie Smith comes out to play it to avoid icing. Now Zimmerman dances through a couple defenders, but lost the puck.
I almost had a double toe drag there.
Now Pomillo the other way, centered at Yurkov, right into the Blue Demon on Max Hetman's jersey.
Big save there by Hetman. St. Norbert buzzing around more and more with each shift. DePaul still getting their chances, but now you're kind of getting into a situation where the teams are trading chances a little bit.
8:41 to go in the second. 5-0 Blue Demons here at Johnny's Ice House West. Kulikowski with a steal there. A.J. Kulikowski centered it and unable to be tapped home by Garrick Smith.
Well, he's looking to center that to Smith. Smith, a lefty shot.
Maluli fires that one off a stick and up out of play. 8:19 to go in period number 2.
There's a nice pass from the corner by Kulikowski, but if he's got a right-handed forward in front of the net, it's tapped in, but he just kind of put it to the wrong side for Smith. Smith got this game going with the first goal of the game, assisted by Kulikowski. They were looking to strike a second time.
Aarons. On the far side, Lee. Up to Kulikowski. AJ Kulikowski. Left wing side, tries to stuff one home. He could not. Now Lee on the rebound as that one stays out. Not sure if Smith got a piece to make a save or it was a block. Now another look towards the net. Wouldn't go either. Near side corner. Up to AJ Kulikowski. Now Chris Lee. Left circle, Lee below the goal line. Look to center that one or maybe play it on a bank play, but it didn't work out. Now this is Lee. Lee around one man, lost the puck, but McMaster now has it, shoots it just over the net.
Yeah, that might have got deflected on its way towards the goal. Good pressure there by the Demons.
Now Kulikowski. Puck taken right back by St. Norbert's College. Toss a lot to Salmon. Salmon fires a shot that missed the net wide to the left. Just the one goal in the period. It belongs to Michael Fortune for what was his second goal of the game so far. Other goals here for the Blue Demons tonight by Garrick Smith, Anthony Martirano, and Josh Taylor. Taylor now with a goal in each of the 3 games to begin the season.
And he has been steady.
Now DeJulio. They continue to battle near side corner. Now DeJulio goes across for Seth Platt towards the net. Stopped by Smith. Now Taylor again. He's out there looking for another look. And a big collision there down on the far boards. And we get a whistle. Another hand pass has been called against the Blue Demons. That'll bring the faceoff back into their own zone. 6:06 to go now in period number 2. 5-0.
One thing I'm noticing about Josh Taylor, he's been making plays offensively. He's getting on the score sheet. But what's standing out to me is his ability to hang on to the puck and fight through checks. He's had guys trying to knock him off the puck, and they're just bouncing off. And he's not an overly big guy, but he has been showing a lot of strength on his skates and the ability to hang on to the puck and play in tight spaces and along the boards. It's impressive.
Big hit there by Fortune. Back behind the play. Now DePaul will dump it right back in. Del Marcel over to Castellat. Linesman getting in the way of that look. We do have the full NHL-style officiating crew tonight. 2 referees, 2 linesmen. Here's Fortune with a steal for the hat trick. Takes a shot off the left pad of Smith. Now getting it back is Taylor. Centers it, Martirano. What a pass. But Martirano couldn't finish it. Now right in front, Fortune wouldn't go. As they continue to pepper on here, finally St. Norbert's will clear the zone. How about that sequence, Chris?
They have just continued to be dynamite all game long. Just dangerous chance after dangerous chance. And they even had a rebound opportunity, but it just rolled a little bit wide of both Taylor and Fortune, who were both crashing. Boys are buzzing.
5-0 the score. For a lot of these freshmen out there, they're used to the third period being a running clock if this is the score. Salvaggi, obviously not here in college. Here's Salmon. Wonkel intercepts out to the neutral zone. Dumped in. and settle down for Wonkel. He'll go behind the goal line for Chaka. Out to neutral ice. And eventually the loose one is found by Zimmerman as he forces it in. 4 minutes remain here in the second period. DePaul leading 5-0 here at home. Zimmerman. Right in on net, save, rebound, Pepper. Peppering on the follow-up, but the stop made by Smith with 3:48 on the clock.
Yeah, Pepper made a nice play to make that happen. He picked off the pass from the center line and started the play the other way. Zimmerman battling his way to the front of the net to create a little bit of chaos in front of the blue paint. Pepper was there to try to tuck it home, but good save there by Smith.
Final moments here before the second intermission. DePaul had a 4-0 lead after one period of play, just the one goal in this period so far. And it came, what was that, Chris? Less than a minute in to the second period.
It was definitely first shift of the game, and it was a fluky one. Puck just kind of squirted free to the front of the net, and Smith never saw it. It was just laying in the crease, and it was tucked home by Fortune. I mean, since then, some good chances for DePaul, but St. Norbert with some good looks too.
Zimmerman looking to get that one to Zork. Crashing the net. Couldn't tip that one home. Now Zimmerman has it far side. Cuts to the high slot. Takes a shot. That one deflects off a defender's stick. And now Koslot wants a breakaway chance, but the puck's never going to get to him.
Yeah, Lee made a good play to knock that down and prevent the breakaway.
Now Zimmerman. Back up high, Chris Lee. Here's the shot by the captain, stopped by the goaltender. Now Lee gloves it down. Chris Lee looks over his options, comes back up high with it. Lee finds some space, gets rid of a shot, but not a lot on that. Now to the far side, Zimmerman. To Lee. Quickly snaps it off, but that gets blocked on its way. Koslot streaking again. And we got a whistle for a hand pass, looks like. I didn't see that one in real time, Chris.
I didn't catch it either. It must have been deflected off of a glove, and they ruled it to be a hand pass. The officials are talking it over. I think the only thing that could possibly change if it's
where the face-off is.
Yeah, if it wasn't.
Looks like Sean Hammond got some kind of explanation as well.
And not a whole lot of fuss over the whistle, and we just get right back to playing the game.
5-0 to score, 2.5 to go in the second period here at Johnny's Ice House West. This one sent all the way down by St. Norbert's College. That's an icing. St. Norbert's College from De Pere, Wisconsin. I had a chance to visit the campus a few years back when my cousin went there, and it's a pretty nice area, suburb of Green Bay. Probably a 3 to 4 hour bus trip down here. I'm not sure where they're staying, but obviously Chicago traffic can have it take about an hour to go, 20 miles. So
yeah, no doubt about that. My ride,
you never know.
My ride from about 40 miles away was an hour and 15 minutes.
There you go. Here's a shot, and what a save made by Smith off the shot from Seth Platt. And I believe that one was on target, Chris.
Yes, that required a quick flash of the glove from Smith. Platt had a good look at that, too. He walked it in. Always love it when a defenseman will take a look, change the angle on their shot instead of just getting it and firing it right away. Sometimes you don't have time, but when you do, you want to use that ice. Take that space.
2-minute warning here in period number 2. 5-0 your score in favor of the Blue Demons as DeJulio keeps it in. Fires a shot nearly deflected in a strange way off Garrick Smith. And then actually did deflect off him, but did not go on net.
The goaltender, Smith, for St. Norbert without his goal stick.
Second time that's happened tonight as Kulikowski gets tied up, and Maybe lucky to not get a holding the stick penalty.
Yeah, he and Wessel got tangled there.
Kulikowski, tough angle.
At
Wouldn't
the
go.
side
And
of the goal.
deflects. Yep, up and out of play. 1:22 to go in the second. 5-0 DePaul.
St. Norbert will gladly take that whistle that allows their goalkeeper to get his twig back.
We have an all-new production crew here for this season of DePaul hockey. Bridget Ryan, your broadcast director, Olivia Bender, the broadcast assistant, and Ali Zizis, our videographer. Chris and I do all the talking on the broadcast, but we can't discount those people helping this broadcast come to your screens at home. We're all one big team here.
Yeah, otherwise you wouldn't be able to see what's going on.
Here's a backhand shot, save, rebound. Nothing there. That was actually Michael Fortune with the hat trick chance that the backhander wouldn't go. 1:14 left in the second.
Yeah, Fortune had the hat trick in the opener. He would love to have another one of those in just the second week of the season.
Yeah, hat trick in the opener, a goal on the Saturday follow-up game. So that's 4 right there, and then 2 tonight. That's 6 goals in just about 8 periods, Chris.
Very impressive start.
I'll say.
That's what else can you say?
As Taylor centers it, and he gets another good look off there, but that's off the pads of Smith. 1 minute to go in period number 2 now. We'll see if either of these teams can find the back of the net before the second intermission. Martorano threw it to the blue paint. Maluli able to force it out. Xhaka with 37 seconds. Puck given away. Here's a shot by Maluli, and I believe Michael Fortune makes the block there, if I'm not mistaken. Now, meanwhile, the other way, a 3-on-1, but offsides. Stops the play and clock with 24.7 in the second period.
St. Norbert gets that chance because of some really good forechecking by Dylan Pomillo. Pomillo just pestering Marco Checa the whole way, strips him of the puck, and then makes that centering pass. Well, Maluli got blocked there. Prime scoring chance, but DePaul keeps them off the board.
Chris, I'll say Pomillo's got one heck of a first name, including the spelling of it. As St. Norbert's tries for another chance, Sean Yurkov down the right wing side, stopped by Hetman. 14 seconds now in the period as they battle near side. DePaul just trying to get it out to the neutral zone. As they continue to battle along the near side boards, 4 seconds on the clock, 3-2 now 1. And the buzzer will sound here at Johnny's Ice House West as they stuff it along the boards in neutral ice to kill off the remaining portion of period number 2. And after a 4-0 first period by DePaul, they get the goal less than a minute into this one, but nothing further than that. And don't get me wrong, 5-0 is a great lead to be skating out to start the third period, but based on the pace of that first period, I was expecting a couple more.
Yeah, DePaul, they did a good job to keep on the attack. The difference in that second period was they did allow some chances to St. Norbert. St. Norbert, they had more shots on goal. They were able to generate a little bit of offensive momentum, but then you have Max Hetman back there, the sophomore goaltender. He was very solid in that second period. He had to make a number of saves. Some of them were pretty big saves, and he keeps his team ahead 5-0, and that's got to be frustrating for the Green Knights. They played a much better second period than they did in the first. They give up what was kind of a fluky goal, and they had a bunch of good chances, and they're still staring at a donut up on the scoreboard.
All right,
we'll see what they got left in the third.
Sorry about that, Chris. Don't go anywhere. Third period coming up in about 10, 15 minutes time. Chris Dubiel, Dylan Ward here on the call. By the way, don't forget, leave us some presents in that comment section. We'd love to respond to what you have to say watching at home, questions or comments, and we're hoping to get at least 3 different accounts to comment during this intermission. So help us make that happen, and we'll respond as soon as we get back for the third period. Till then, we'll see you in about 10, 15 minutes right here on the DePaul Hockey Network. Welcome back to the DePaul Hockey Network, live on YouTube, live from Johnny's Ice House West here in the great city of Chicago, Illinois. DePaul in front 5-0. They were up 4-0 after the first period, just the lone goal in the second, but still in a very advantageous spot. Dylan Ward here alongside Chris Dubiel on the broadcast with the headsets on. Bridget Ryan, our broadcast director. Olivia Bender, our broadcast assistant, and Ali Zizis, our videographer today. And, well, Chris, DePaul has been dominant from start to finish in this one, or at least for the first 40 minutes. But as you mentioned, towards the end of that second period, we did see a fair amount of St. Norbert's chances in that second period, more than the first. But Max Hetman has stood on his head here tonight.
Yeah, Max Hetman was very good in that second period. Really didn't see a lot of action in the first, and that can be tricky for a goaltender when you're just trying to stay focused, stay in the game when you don't have a lot of shots coming your way. And then all of a sudden, the second, scoring chances were much more frequent for St. Norbert, but Hetman was very good, made a number of nice glove saves, and frustrated the Green Knights in that middle frame.
Fresh ice, fresh 20 minutes on the clock. As this one finds Pepper, and he crashes the net. Oh, he unable to get that one on his forehand for a quick chance here to start the third period. But DePaul will keep it in their offensive zone. Back to our first period shooting sides. DePaul in black from right to left on your screen. St. Norbert's College in white from left to right. I will say I'm disappointed in all of you watching at home. As I said, we were expecting at least 3 different accounts to comment in our chat, but we didn't get any. So feel free to leave us some questions and comments. We'd love to interact with you all watching at home. As DePaul leads this one 5-0. Here nearing the 11 o'clock hour on a Friday night. Castellat, left wing side, fires a shot, tough angle. As St. Norbert's just looking to get something past Hetman here tonight. There's Del Marcel. Look to center that one for Gilbert. Instead, it's played off the far boards and backhanded. Not out by DePaul. Just 3 penalties in this game. DePaul 2 for 2 on the power play and 1 for 1 on the kill. That's going to make Sean Hammond happy. Former DePaul head coach Dan Wood behind the bench now for St. Norbert. So back here at Johnny's Ice House West in the visiting bench. Going against his former assistant coach here at DePaul and current assistant coach at Stevenson High School. Now a stick snaps. And Zizis has to race back to the bench in order to get a new one. Right wing circle now Zimmerman. Down low, backhand shot stopped by the right pad of Smith and cleared out just enough beyond the glove of Platt. And the teams will change. Chris, I don't believe we've had a whistle so far in this third period. About 2.5 minutes in.
Yeah, just flowing through.
Sean Yurkov now, far side. Centered it, and there's one as Hetman will glove it. 17:26 to go in the third. 5-0 DePaul here at home.
Yeah, Pomillo trying to make the play from the middle of the ice there. Shot was partially blocked, so kind of just jumped on goal. Not too much of a difficult save there for Hetman after a couple of nice chances the other way for DePaul.
Okay,
got off
Chris.
to a good first couple of shifts for the home team.
Well, I'll save this for the next whistle, but here's a shot. That one goes wide. Actually, I'll just go ahead with it. How about this? Jason Wendell Smith comments, watching from Oslo, Norway. Go Green Knights and Anders Smith. So happy to have you watching from Norway. I believe it is in the wee hours of the morning over there right now, if my math is correct.
Yeah, it's got to be a 7 or 8 hour time difference. Just guessing.
Yeah, that's when the later games actually work out. You get to wake up at least somewhat with the sun instead of just straight up in the middle of the night to watch a game. But hey, we really appreciate the support from Norway. Again, whether you're a fan of the Blue Demons or the Green Knights, this is what we do it for. Kulikowski, as this one goes all the way down. Pamillo.
Have to believe that's family of the goaltender, Anders Smith in net.
Yeah, there was a
St. Norbert.
There was a go Anders Smith at the tail end of that comment. And Anders Smith, I mean, you talk about 5 goals allowed. I would not say he's had a bad game by any stretch.
No, definitely not. There's just been an onslaught of chances and some really great A chances from DePaul.
This one's tipped in by Taylor.
I think if you talk to Smith, maybe the only one that he probably would want back is just that fluky one that he didn't see at the beginning of the second period. But other than that,
yeah, that's a good point.
Everything was a prime scoring chance from right between the circles.
This one centered. Here's Fortune for the hat trick. He scores! 3rd time's the charm for number 34 Black. And Michael Fortune, how about hat trick number 2 of the season? It's 6-0.
Unbelievable start to the campaign for Michael Fortune. 7 goals in 3 games.
And Chris, I think you were talking about Fortune early on in the broadcast when you said he only had 4 goals last year, and now he's got a couple of hat tricks in his back pocket in the first 3 games of the season. No hats hit the ice. A little disappointed in that, to be honest.
Not a lot of people wearing hats.
That's
they probably didn't want to give them up.
It's ACHA hockey. You get it back.
Maybe.
Here's Pamillo cutting through a couple defenders. Now here's a shot from up high. That gets blocked and tipped out. Here comes Fortune. A chance for number 4. And he scores! Call it a touchdown for DePaul. A 4-goal night for Michael Fortune. And no fist bumps at the bench after that one.
Beauty of a move there on the breakaway. Just silky smooth stick handling. Gets the goaltender down and tucks it past the pad. And that is one hot stick for Michael Fortune. 4-goal game. Unbelievable.
So now, Chris, you talk about him matching last year's total in the first 2 games. How about in one night?
Yeah, that's I mean, you can't beat that.
So 7-0 the score in favor of DePaul. Michael Fortune with 4 goals, 2 in the period. And it's almost one of those, Chris, where, listen, you score 3 goals. You don't care how they went in, empty net, miscue, or whatever. But if there was any doubt of the legitimacy of his second goal, any doubt. I mean, three really nice looking plays.
Absolutely. I'm with you 100% there.
Now here's Pepper. Up high, Wonkel, stolen away, and here come the Green Knights. Tommy Soman down the left side, looked to center for Kosalot, but getting his body in the way to make the block on the pass was Marco Cheka. And then it's covered by DePaul's netminder, Max Hetman. 13:29 to go in the third, 7-0. We have some more chats filing in. Jeff Zimmerman says, "You guys are great." Jaeger Zimmerman's dad here watching from Minnesota. enjoying the commentary, and go with Blue Demons and Wild. Good to have you, Jeff Zimmerman. Appreciate the compliments as well. We've also got Doesn't Matter commenting, Garrick Smith's uncle watching. I'm a new DePaul fan. Good to have you aboard, as that was a near chance for St. Norbert's College, but wouldn't go.
That looked like it hit the inside of the post and bounced out. They had Hetman beat, but just by a hair missing the target.
Here's Zimmerman now, ahead for Lee. Zork to the near side. Aaron's fired a shot, or not sure if that was a shot or not, but it missed by a wide margin. Now Zimmerman got it to Aaron's with a backhand. Zork put a backhand wide of the net. And the Green Knights, Yurkov couldn't get it past Aaron's. Zimmerman over the line. Nice drop off pass to Zork. Pardon me, Zizis. Now across, and there's Zimmerman touched right in front. And that one hit the side of the net. Pretty looking play by DePaul, but couldn't get it on target.
That was tic-tac-toe right there. I couldn't believe they didn't put it in the net. Some slick passing, but they just couldn't finish off the play.
It's almost like they played by the book all the way, but it just became a Cats game at the end. Sometimes that's how it'll go.
Did Smith get a piece of that, the goaltender?
Hard to tell. I think they just hit the side netting. Dylan Ward and Chris Dubiel with the headsets on. Happy to have you with us late on this Friday night. This will not be an icing as DePaul wins the race to the puck. Be right back on your airwaves tomorrow at 3:30, probably more like 3:50 for the actual start time of the game, as DePaul will face these very same Green Knights at this very same Johnny's Ice House West on this very same YouTube channel. Chris Dubiel will have play-by-play for that one. Here's AJ Kulikowski. Puck top
kind of
past him. Yep. Now Garrick Smith. 11 minutes to go in the third period. DePaul up 7-0. Backhanded down low. Pamillo couldn't hang on to it. Now it's forked out of there. Here comes Garrick Smith. Tried to center it for McMaster. But couldn't. Good to see McMaster out on the ice. We actually had a little bit of a conversation with his father, Keith McMaster, in between the second and third period, and he gave us a little bit of insight as to his recovery journey. Had surgery, of course, in just a couple games in to last year and had to sit out for the rest of the season, but now he's getting his McMaster's degree. And Chris, just, really fantastic to see him out there and playing to his full potential after, those injuries. ACL is never fun.
No, it's just such a long road to recovery and all the physical therapy and the pain that you got to fight through. And it's got to feel so rewarding to be back out there, back on the ice, playing a regular shift. So good to see Ryan McMaster back out there.
Taylor now down to Fortune, looking for a fifth stop. And yeah, Smith making the save there. Now here's Casalot. Left wing side, taken away by DePaul. Josh Taylor looking to get it out to the near side. It's Fortune. Fortune backhands this one down. Picked back up by St. Norbert's. 4 goals for Fortune. Garrick Smith, Anthony Martirano, Josh Taylor with the others. And 7-0 the score. Yet to allow a goal, Max Hetman between the pipes for DePaul. Liam Pepper now. Skates over the line, left wing side. Pepper looked to center it for Martirano. This St. Norbert's team, an interesting tidbit, they actually played a preseason game against a team I work for in the NA3HL, the West Bend Power. And Chris, I can't believe I've waited till now to not only say it on air, but say it in general. I just put it together. But the West Bend Power, part of the NA3HL, finalists of the Fraser Cup last year, junior team, beat this team 5-2 was the final score up at St. Norbert's College. Penalty coming up.
There's a big collision in the corner there. Not sure if this is going to be a board or a hit from behind or a cross check, but you heard the rattle of the boards and the referee's arm went pretty quick.
8:30 to go in the third period. 7-0 DePaul. Casalot and Pepper. No, pardon me. Just Casalot will go. And
Looks
it's
like
a power play for DePaul.
Looks like roughing was the call.
We have Asher M. I'm guessing Asher Motu commenting, is health coaching. And I got to be completely honest with you. I don't know what Michael Health looks like. I know how he skates and how he plays, but we do have you could say a younger looking fella behind the bench wearing the maroon shirt. Could that be Michael Health?
I don't believe so. I don't think Help's on the bench today.
Okay.
I know he's on the staff, but I have not seen him around yet. We saw him in the chat.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. We did see him in the chat. As a matter of fact, he said, "What's up, Asher?" Okay, DePaul 2 for 2 on the power play. Can they go 3 for 3? Big hit down below the boards. And hard to identify who that player is, but he's laboring and enough to stop play. It looks like that is Ryan McMaster. As he is laboring face down to the ice. McMaster, a long road to recovery after last season, and that is not what you want to see.
He's up to his skates. He's going to get some help, but you just really hope that this is nothing serious as he just tries to skate himself off.
7-0 game. He'll obviously exit this one.
Hopefully,
Dan Wood,
contusion or a strain or something. I hope it's nothing too serious.
Dan Wood expressing some concern, of course, the former DePaul head coach.
So we'll hope that he's all right. But it got quiet in this arena for a couple of seconds there as he went down, and he was clearly in some pain.
And those in the arena who know what it means to have that player go down, you just hope that he's okay. I mean, listen, this is a team that you clearly have an advantage over. Maybe sit out tomorrow just to not risk anything.
I think if there's a question of playing tomorrow, that's a good sign.
Right. We'll see.
Well,
anyway, shorthanded, here comes St. Norbert's crashing the net. Backhander chance by Dylan Pomillo. Couldn't get it past Hetman.
They had Yurkov going to the front of the net.
Here's A.J. Kulikowski. Around one man. Kulikowski to the net. Lost the puck, and it's taken by Wessel instead. $50 seconds to go on the power play. 7:15 to go in the third. 7-0 DePaul. This one played across. Here's a shot, and diving out to make the stop was Smith on Zimmerman's chance. And it gets played out to the neutral zone as a follow-up. Here's Zimmerman again.
Yeah, this will be enough time if DePaul can get an offensive zone face-off win here, you still have an advantage because that player coming out of the box is still going to have to be chasing the play, but the key is winning the draw here.
Asher Motu, a couple chats here. Free my boy Diego. And what is Fortune's mother's maiden name? I got to tell you, I do not know. Maybe you can ask him. As DePaul trying to get this one out to the neutral zone. Zimmerman gets it around Maluli. Zimmerman behind the goal line. And out to the neutral zone. 5:40 to go in regulation. As DePaul looks to add on, Zimmerman gets taken down on his way to the net. No call. And St. Norbert's out to neutralize. That gets intercepted. And a big hit near side. Yurkov ran into Pepper. And Sean Yurkov will get the puck back. Yurkov with speed. Yurkov. Back up to Carlson. Now Soman down to Koselot. Salvaggi blew a tire, but meanwhile, here comes Verlinski with a shot. Stopped and held on to by Smith. 4:48 to go here in the game.
Now, Salvaggi was just kind of off balance there and fell awkwardly, but he still made a nice play to just make a little touch pass to Verlinski. Salvaggi goes back to the bench, shaking his head a little bit after taking a bit of a tumble, but he looks like he'll be all right.
DePaul takes control off a face-off. Lee, left point, towards the net tip. Nice deflection by Smith on its way to Smith, but Smith made the stop.
That thing changed direction by at least 6 inches, maybe more.
Yeah. Now here's a shot, tough angle, but a penalty called. Far side lookout in the visiting bench. And play will stop. And let's see what the referee found here.
Yeah, I think Smith's going to go off for, I believe, a high stick. It's a roughing is the call. I saw Pamillo go straight to the St. Norbert's bench and took his helmet off, kind of checking his mouth to make sure he didn't chip a tooth or have a cut or something. So Smith is going to go to the box. 2-minute minor for roughing.
4:21 to go in the third. 7-0 DePaul. And it'll be a power play opportunity for Norbert's for the second time. DePaul, 1-for-1 on the kill. They'll look to do it again and keep the 0 up.
Pamillo visibly frustrated after that. He's all right. He's staying back out there for the power play, but kind of pointing at the referee or pointing at his face while talking to the referee like, hey, he got me a pie. Probably trying to work for maybe an extra 2 minutes, but it's just a minor penalty.
That one deflected just wide. So St. Norbert's on the power play. We'll see if they can get something going here in the final stages of this game. Here's Pepper the other way, shorthanded, trying a shot. Koselot makes the block. And there's another penalty as a DePaul player is taken down below the goal line. So that'll quickly end the man advantage and convert us to 4-on-4 play. And
looks like Verlinski down there.
He's got his glove off and holding. He looks to be all right as he'll skate back to the bench with no assistance. So 4-on-4 hockey coming up here with 4:02 to go in the third. 7-0 DePaul. This game has been all Blue Demons. here at Johnny's Ice House West.
Yeah, at this point, you just want to finish the game, run the clock out, get everybody back to the locker room healthy. Is we've already seen McMaster leave the game. Verlinski's shaken up there, but he's gone back to the bench. He has not gone off to the locker room. So we will skate 4-on-4, 141.
Some open ice out there. Let's see if it leads to any offensive chances for either team. Here's a pass up ice, Dylan Pomillo, but with Lee on his tail, he's able to hack that away. Pomillo gets it back, sends it to Maloney. Now Kostelat fires, looking for the 5-hole from up high, but making the stop is Max Hetman. He's been perfect so far here tonight. Now this is Taylor over the line. Taylor with a shot. Gobbled up and held on to by Smith. 3:27 to go in the third. These two teams go again tomorrow. 3:30 p.m. official time. We'll probably be live on YouTube at about 3:50 p.m. If you're St. Norbert's, how do you respond tomorrow knowing you're going up against pretty much the same lineup, perhaps a different goaltender, but just a team that dominated you for 60 minutes the less than 24 hours prior?
Well, you just got to have a much better start to the game, because really what it did in St. Norbert was just the 4-goal first period.
Taylor centers it, backhand chance by Martirano, wouldn't go. He was looking for a second of the game there, couldn't find it.
They did lose the second period 1-0, but all things considered, that felt like a pretty even second period. If you can find a way to duplicate that effort, maybe build off of that, you give yourself a much better chance tomorrow afternoon. You finish out this game, try to find maybe some positive from it, and then just move on and get right back to it. That's the thing. You don't really have time to dwell on the loss. You just get right back on the horse the next day and try to win a hockey game.
Here's Zizis. Takes a shot while his sister films it, and it goes just above the crossbar. 2.5 to go here in the third period. Coming up on the end of 4-on-4 play. As time expires on the penalty against Garrick Smith, DePaul now has a short power play for the next 15 seconds. Yurkov, shorthanded, will dump this one in. Getting out of the way of that one is the referee.
That was put up the boards, but nobody home there as St. Norbert was completing a line change. They're also shorthanded, so you're not going to have a defenseman aggressively at the point.
Kulikowski down low, out of his position. Oh, what a save initially, but then it's tucked home by Jaeger Zimmerman for the Snowman. 8-0 with 1:45 to go in the third.
I thought we were about to see a spectacular sprawling save there by Smith, with Zimmerman able to hang with it, tuck it past him, and just adds to the lead. And we do have a player getting tossed. That's Kostelat. I think he had something to say to the referee at the end of the play, and he gave him the old heave-ho.
We'll see if that results in a power play for DePaul. Looks like
it's probably just a 10-minute misconduct.
Yeah.
Nobody's in the box. We're 5-on-5. Under Smith asking the referee for an explanation following that goal.
Yep. 8-0 the score. All but official now. 105 seconds separate DePaul from a 3-0 start to the season, and 3 convincing wins at that. Here's Ahrens. Zimmerman near side. Throwing in front. They're trying to hack another one home, but they could not. Kulikowski up to Ahrens. Now to the near side for Lee. Over to Kulikowski with a shot. And that one deflects and is saved by Smith, but a tough stop at that.
Yeah, he just had to try to shrug that one off.
Tenths of a second on the clock now here at Johnny's Ice House West. The fans starting to make some noise. Here's Kulikowski down low, and they couldn't get it by Smith, who eventually covers it up 40.2.
Nice little pass there by Kulikowski. Just kind of slip it down low, give his line mate a chance. Smith sliding out there with the pad to cut that play off.
Drop of the puck, DePaul offensive zone. They win the faceoff up high. Get it down low. Gilbert now off the near boards. Sent back in the other way. Camillo gloves it down. Runs into Pepper, but St. Norbert's plays the puck back. 20 seconds now. Man hitting to the boards. Smith takes it. Takes a hit to make a play. Centered it for Salvaggi. Didn't work out. Now to Paul with 7 seconds. Platt with a shot save made. And that's going to do it here at Johnny's Ice House. 9-1, 7-2, 8-0. The Blue Demons' first 3 games of the season. And a shutout for Max Hetman, assisted by a 4-goal effort by Michael Fortune. What a start to the year for these DePaul Blue Demons. And they'll go against the Green Knights one more time tomorrow.
It is incredible what they have been able to do in these first 3 games. Yeah, they're up to what, 24 goals in 3 games now. It's kind of ridiculous.
24-3. So on average, they're winning by 7.
Yeah, plus 18 goal differential. Oh, no, actually, scratch that. It's a plus 21 goal differential in 3 games to start the season. Just dominant performances from a team that clearly had a good offseason and a good training camp, and they showed up ready to go.
So Michael Fortune with 4 goals, Garrick Smith, Anthony Martirano, Josh Taylor, and Jaeger Zimmerman with the other 4. And the shutout for Max Hetman. And Chris, these 2 teams go again tomorrow. You'll have play-by-play for that one. What kind of game are you expecting out of both sides?
Well, for St. Norbert, you look for a better start. Maybe they'll have a little bit more jump, a little bit more push in the first period, knowing about the firepower from DePaul. And for the Demons, like you just want to get after it. First shift. Keep the goals coming, keep the scoring chances coming, because nobody has stopped you yet. So you just try to keep that momentum pushing forward and just build off of it shift after shift, game after game, and keep filling the net.
All right, well, that'll do it for us here from Johnny's Ice House West. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here on this Friday night. One more time, our crew, Ali Zizis, our videographer, Olivia Bender, our broadcasting assistant, Bridget Ryan, our broadcasting director. To my right, all night with the headset on, Chris Dubiel. My name is Dylan Ward. One more time, the final score. The DePaul Blue Demons 8 and the St. Norbert's Green Knights We will see you right here tomorrow. Same place, same YouTube channel, but a different time. 3:30 p.m. official start. Probably more like 3:50 will be live. Till then, have a great Friday night, everyone.